So this is going to be part 2 of the House of the Undying series. In the first video we talked about the first set of visions, which I kind of labeled the state of Westeros, which I think were visions to give Dany an idea of what's going on in Westeros, the land she's going to conquer or trying to conquer. So this is going to be the second set of visions, and again these are all in order from the book. And this is what I call set 2, the Undying visions. This is when Dany actually reaches the Undying. They really hammer home the number 3 here. They give her 3 visions with 3 things within each vision. Right before that, as she walks in, she hears the whispers and they start labeling her all the things that we've heard her called before, such as Mother of Dragons, Child of 3 heads has the dragon, Mother of Dragons, Child of Storm. Now real quick before I get into the visions, I think the Child of Storm thing there is important as it relates to some of these other theories about who she is. I did this video, which I'll link in the description below, about the R plus L equals D theory. And this is not my theory, it's actually an older theory, but it's getting some fire online again because it is very interesting to talk about. Essentially, it questions Daenerys' entire birth as far as her being at the Tower of Joy versus Jon Snow. And if that's the case, she wasn't born on Dragonstone, where she gained the name Daenerys Stormborn because of the horrible storm they had during her birth when her mother died. If she's in the House of the Undying, and all these things seem to be real events in her past, present, and future that she's seeing, and they come to pass, or they're memories that seem to be accurate to her, they called her the Child of Storm here. All I'm saying here is that if she's in the House of the Undying and all these other visions seem to have some truth to them, whether it's a memory that seems to be accurate or something prophetic, Child of Storm, it seems it would be true as well. So anyway, let's get to it. The first one is 3 fires you must light, 1 for life, and 1 for death, and 1 to love. Now this is speculative, but I believe the fires refer to literal fires, but they could also obviously be metaphor for something else. Now most people believe that fire for life be referring to Drogo, because obviously she had to burn him in his funeral pyre, and that's when she had the magical moment, hatched her dragons. But that could also be for death and love, because Drogo was a love of hers, and that was after his actual death when she put him out of his misery by smothering him with a pillow. I don't see it being all 3 at the same time, although it's possible. I think these have to be separate things, otherwise it really doesn't mean anything. There's no point in saying it. The 1 for death may refer to, you know, she having to literally burn somebody or an army perhaps with her dragons, and the 1 for love perhaps is a future literal fire she'll have to set with her dragons or otherwise that she will love, because it does say is to love, not for love. So this could be referring to all kind of things. Literal fires when she eventually gets across and I believe meets the others and has to use her dragon fire against the others in the War for the Dawn. It can be figurative fires as well, so it's still up for speculation. Feel free to let me know what you think this particular one means. But the second group of 3 reads like this: 3 mounts you must ride, 1 to bed and 1 to dread and 1 to love. Now again, these mounts could be literal mounts that she rides, like a horse Silver, the one she rode that Drogo gave her as a wedding gift. It could be Drogon, and I think that in fact it's kind of a mix of that and actual possible lovers. The 1 to bed could simply be referring to Drogo, or perhaps Dario, or some future lover perhaps. The 1 to dread I think probably refers to Drogon, because she has actually now ridden him at this point. It kind of reaches back to Balerion the Black Dread, who is one of the 3 dragons who helped conquer Westeros. And the 1 for love again is up in the air. I mean, what kind of fire does she need to light for love? Is it for love of Westeros, her kingdom, to save it from the others? Is it for love literally as in another person she's going to love in the future? And the final vision in these sets of 3 in the Undying vision reads like 3 treasons you will know, 1 for blood and 1 for gold and 1 for love. I think I agree with most people with the 1 for blood would probably be Mira Mazdur, which was the witch that she burned at the pyre of Drogo's funeral. She betrayed Dany and killed her son Rhaego, and for that she burned her, which of course aided in the magical moment where she gave death for life and hatched her dragons. As far as the treason for gold, a lot of people think this could be Jorah, and I'm not necessarily disagreeing with that, but Jorah didn't really betray her for gold. Now, he did betray her to get back to his land, to Westeros. He didn't do it for actual gold, but I mean, I guess you could see that as gold in a way, because it is land, it's worth money, and it's getting back to the life he knew. In one way, it was treason. It was, you know, he did betray Dany in the sense that he was pretending to look over, but he was actually spying for King's Landing. But at the same time, he then saved her and became a true believer and followed her truly and fell in love with her. He became Captain Friendzone. He was already with her at this point, and this was, again, book 2. You still had 3 books yet to come, and the TV show wasn't even a thought. And the 1 for love is really still up in the air. That could be something like Hizdahr, but she doesn't love Hizdahr, although she was going to marry him for the sake of establishing peace in Meereen. I don't think that necessarily relates, but it could be some future love that we have yet to know of. And that does it for set 2 of the visions in the House of the Undying. So far we've covered set 1 in the first video, which was the the initial set of visions she had as she entered the House of the Undying and went looking for the actual Undying. And then once she reached them, she got these 3 visions with 3 things in each vision. So really hammering home this number 3 heads of the dragon. So in the next video, we'll talk about the 3rd set of visions in the House of the Undying, which I refer to as the titles visions. And this is where they give Dany, again, 3 titles. And again, they come in groups of 3s. They give her the titles Daughter of Death, Slayer of Lies, and Bride of Fire. And I'll explain that in the next video. So thanks for watching. We'll see you in part 3.